Hey guys, I'm Erin Kelly. Today we're going to be doing a full body core activating type of class, focusing on the action from downward dog, moving one leg to the top of the mat into a low lunge position. When I first started practicing yoga, I remember the teacher saying, "Now bring your foot up to the top of the mat without a sound." And I took that very literally. I became fascinated with that because I couldn't do it. And through years of focus and really hard work, I started to be able to facilitate that within my body. And then through that realization, I found so much core intelligence in that. And I really feel that that is a very strong foundation to build this type of intelligence into our body. So I created a whole flow all about it. Um, and things that we would need today, I really love working with blocks. So please, if you have those, you can grab up them. Some big, sturdy, thick books could also work really well if you don't have those. So find the biggest books you have on the shelf. We will also need a strap or a scarf or a men's tie, something of that nature at one portion of the class. As well as if you have any of these type of yoga balls, grab up them. If you do not have any of these yoga balls, I think if you rolled up a few socks over each other, that might work really well, but make it as a little dense. So maybe do like 3 to 4 socks. So grab the things that you need and come join us onto the mat. We'll be starting lying onto our backs, coming into our breath. So we will just go ahead and get there now, and you can pause this or come back however you see fit. As you come into this space onto your back body, you can either draw your legs out long. Sometimes I like to start class in more of a constructive rest, which would be to tuck the tailbone, bring the feet as hips as the width of the mat, and allow the knees to knock in towards one another. And as you, whatever position you are in, just start to identify your breath. Meet it where it's at. Meet yourself where you are at today onto the mat. So is your breath, is it running shallow? Is it already running deep and full? Maybe even thinking about it directionally. Is your breath running vertically or horizontally, or maybe just kind of scattered and diagonal and kind of making scribbles with inside your vessel? So gently shut your eyelids, soften the space in between your eyebrows as you bring this attention into your breath, connecting to it. The breath is, for me in my practice, the number one facilitator to movement. So that first connection to the breath and what it looks like without having any ideas or parameters onto it is always a great way to start. And then from there, finding where it is, we can start to facilitate a deeper connection to it. So here, as you grab onto your breath, you can start to bring more of a controlled sense of awareness to it. So even turning on Ujjayi Pranayama, that constricting of the back of the throat, start to pull and push your breath as you inhale and exhale with your lips closed. Here, and with every exhale that you find, see if you can soften the outer layers of your skin. Maybe allowing that space in between your eyebrows to melt just a little bit more. Now on this next inhale, let's inhale and allow the rib cage to fan out wide, pressing towards your biceps. And then as you exhale, allow that navel to come towards the spine and soften the low rib into the hip bones. The next inhale, allow the sternum this time to rise up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, navel to the spine. One more inhale. Inhale here, maybe rising up through the collarbones, maybe pressing the back of the heart into the mat. Exhale, soften just a little bit deeper. The next inhale is going to pull both knees into the chest. Take your hands around your shin bones and give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. Allow your knees to come a little bit wider than your rib cage, big toes together to touch. Keep your right hand onto your shin bone, and as you exhale, extend your left leg long. Take both hands around your right shin bone here, and then just provide a few little pulses of your right knee towards your right armpit. Pull your right heel into your sit bone, or as close as that you can. And here, flex your left toes towards your kneecap and start to engage through the left leg, maybe lifting up through the kneecap, engaging through the quad. Draw the navel to the spine and see if you can slip your right thigh to the outer part to graze your right rib cage. Keep this connection as much as that you can muster. And now here, inhale. And as you exhale, keep your right hand onto your shin bone. Reach your left fingertips towards your toes and curl your head, neck, and shoulders off your mat to gaze at your left toes. Take an inhale here, lift up a little bit higher. Exhale for the navel to the spine. And see if we can lift the left foot maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 inches off the mat as we engage through the leg and press the left heel away from the system. Keep pulling the right knee into the right armpit, pulling the right heel into the sit bone. Now here, as you inhale, find a little bit of length. And then as you exhale, navel to the spine, reach your fingertips towards the top of the mat. And here, let's begin a small pulse. Keep the right heel pulling in towards the sit bone. Press away with the left heel. And we're going to start this audible exhale here to naturally contract the abdominal wall. So thinking about the whole entire abdominal wall like a sponge. Every time you come up, you're squeezing it. So this audible exhale, every time we pulse up, sounds like this. Shh, shh, shh. We're going to do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, really pulling the right heel into the sit bone. Press away with the left heel. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Gently release the left foot down to the mat as the head, neck, and shoulders. Stretch the right leg up. Flex the toes towards the kneecap. Straighten through the right back leg. Rebend into the right knee. Take an inhale. Scoot your hips over to the right side of your mat. And as you exhale, just an easy spinal twist here to start out with. Coming over to the left side of your mat. Maybe gazing over to your right thumb. Take one full breath here, lifting up through the sternum, finding space along the spinal column and through the front part of your abdominal wall. And then as you find your way back onto your back body, again, stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. Flex the toes towards the kneecap. Knead through the back of the right hamstring. And gently release the right foot down to the mat. Inhale, pulls the left knee into the chest. And again, basket your hands around your shin bone. And now slide the left knee towards the top of your left armpit. Start to pulse the left thigh into the chest. Draw the navel towards the spine and start to bring that awareness into the right leg as we engage through the right quad. Start to flex the right toes a little bit more firmly to the kneecap as you press away from system with the right heel. Now, here, try to slip the left thigh, the inner part of the left thigh, to the outer part of the left rib cage. Try to keep this connection. Again, you can keep your foot flexed, pointed, flointed, however you'd like, but trying to turn on the back of the leg at the same time by pulling the left heel into the sit bone. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, curl head, neck, and shoulders off of the mat. Take an inhale here, curling up a little bit higher. And now as you exhale, can we float the right foot 1, 2, 3, 4 inches off the mat, flexing and engaging through the right quad, lifting through the right kneecap. Release both hands to the top of the mat, squeeze. And now start to pulse the torso towards your right toes and press away with the right heel, coming into that audible breath. So every time we curl up, we create this noise out the mouth to naturally contract the abdominal wall for 5, 4. Pull the left heel in towards the sit bone. 3, 2, 1. Hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Pull the left heel in. Maybe slide the left knee up towards your left armpit. Ooh, I'm feeling it, toast. And release. Stretch the left leg long. Flex the toes towards the kneecap. Find length along the back of the left hamstring. On your next inhale, pull the left heel in towards the sit bone. Scoot your hips over to the left. And exhale, allow the left knee to come over towards the right spinal twist. Ooh, I just got a little pop. Maybe take your gaze over to the left thumb. Take an inhale here, lifting up through the sternum. Exhale, navel to the spine. The next inhale brings your left knee back up towards the ceiling. Settle the whole entire back body onto the floor. Stretch the left leg long. Flex through the heel. Gently allow the left foot to come down and meet the right. Inhale, pull both knees into the self. And then as you exhale, just start to rock and roll along the spinal column. But I mean this, so actually do it. Do about 5 rocks or so. Really thinking about connecting to the spinal column and heating through the back of the heart. After you're done about 5 or so rocks, we're going to be just rolling over top of our shin bones and coming into a tabletop pose. Here in tabletop pose, I generally like to kind of almost turn my hands out about 10 degrees or so that the top middle fingers are pointing towards the top corners of my mat. Kneecaps are underneath my hip bones. Now inhale here, just coming into some normal natural cat-cow motions here. So pull the heart through the bicep, allow the navel to come to the spine to protect the lower back. And now exhale, press the ground down and away. Shift your shoulders over top of your wrists, puff up through the back of the heart, and allow your head to humble to the ground. Inhale, pull your heart through your biceps, soften through the front of the face. Exhale, press the ground down and away. Shoulder blades, scapula expand, really working on this press in the separation between the scapulas. Inhale here, spine and gaze comes forward. Exhale, press the ground down and away, puff up through the back of the heart, shift the weight slightly forward, keeping the weight into all 4 quadrants of the palms. Inhale, come forward, back into a neutral tabletop. And here, just start to turn your fingertips out to the side of the mat, just saying hello here to the wrists, kind of letting them know that we're going to be putting a little bit of pressure on them today. I like to take my fingertips towards my knees and then shift the weight slightly back, bring my sit bones kind of towards my heels, but definitely not there yet. Can even gently paw the ground, coming from one palm to the other palm. Okay. As you start to settle the motions into your wrist, bring your fingertips back to face the top of the mat, middle fingers towards the top corners of the mat. Magnetize your kneecaps towards one another. So firm your hips. So this will almost look like a small tuck of the tailbone. Pull the shoulder blades away from your ears. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, shift the weight into the left palm and left shin bone. Ground the top of the left foot into the mat. And then plug the right femur into its socket to hover off of the floor. Inhale here, find that length along the spine again. And then as you exhale, peel your right knee up and open like we're peeing, like a puppy peeing on a fire hydrant. Start to pulse the outer edge of your right hip towards the ceiling. Re-square your shoulder blades towards the top of the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep this up pulse. And now, as you inhale, find that length along the spinal column again. And then exhale, swirl your right knee behind your left. Think of that little curtsy squat here. Inhale, peels your right hip back open. Exhale to curtsy squat. Inhale, peel it back open. Exhale to curtsy squat. Mindful movement here. 2 more times. Inhale to peel it open. Exhale to curtsy squat. Last time, inhale to peel it open. Exhale to curtsy squat. Inhale to peel it open. And now let's close the hips. So the sole of the foot, flex it towards your kneecap, voices towards the sky. So we're almost lifting up from the inner edge of the right thigh. And now here, tuck the tailbone, pull the navel to the spine, press the ground down and away, shift the weight forward. And now start to lift up from the inner edge of the thigh and start to pulse the sole of the right foot towards the ceiling. Instead of like a flinging type of action where the whole entire spine gets involved, let's really try to keep everything firm. Gaze maybe slightly down in between your pointer fingers and really thinking about this activation of the back of the leg. Keep going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower the right knee and shin bone down to the ground. Take 1 cat-cow here to reset. Inhale, soften, pull your heart through. Exhale, press the ground down and away. Humble through the back of the heart. Puff up through that space. Shift the weight forward. Inhale, come back to neutral. Start to bring the attention into the right hand and right shin bone. And as you inhale here, start to shift the weight forward. Exhale to plug the left femur into the system. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, peel the left hip up like you're that puppy again peeing on a fire hydrant. Re-square your shoulders towards the top of the mat and start to pulse the outer edge of the left knee towards the ceiling. Squaring your hips, pull the navel in and up. Start to shift the weight back over into the left palm if it's kind of drifted over to the right, or vice versa. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, on this next up pulse, keep it there and swirl your right knee or left knee around to the right and think of a little curtsy squat. Inhale, glide your left knee back open, puppy peeing on a fire hydrant. Exhale, glide the left knee behind the right. Inhale, peel it open. Exhale, glide the left knee down. Inhale, peel it open 2 more times. Exhale, glide it back down. Inhale, peel it open. Last time, squeeze firm through the right outer hip and bring it back down. Next time, peel it open. Now moving from this open hip to a closed hip. So start to think about lifting from the left inner thigh as the sole of the left foot comes towards the ceiling. Flex the toes towards the kneecap. Tuck through the tailbone. Re-level out the weight through both palms and start to pulse the sole of the left foot towards the ceiling. Again, without trying to move the spine. So draw the navel in and up and then really think like someone has their middle fingers around the inner part of your thigh and you're lifting up from that area. Turning on the back of the left leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Slowly lower with control the left knee to come down to the ground. And here we're just going to come back and sit onto our shin bones. You can use one of your blocks if you'd like to settle your sit bones onto your block and grab onto your sock ball or regular ball. And you want to take the ball into the palm of the hand and then squeeze the ball pretty firmly with your fingertips. And we're going to take our arm right out in front of us, not really too high or low, but right out in front of us. And here, bringing the activation into the palm of the hand, squeeze it, and then start to flex the palm towards your nose. And then start to lower the palm down, keeping the activation of squeezing the ball. Inhale, peels the palm towards your nose, and then pointing down towards the ground. Peel it open. Oh my gosh, these are so hard. Exhale, pushing them down. Inhale, peel it open. Exhale, pushing it down. 2 more. Inhale, peel it open. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, pushing it down. 1 more. Inhale, peel. Exhale, push. Gently switching the ball to the other side. And again, so inhale, peels it open, squeeze through the ball. Exhale, push it down. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. 2 more. Inhale, open. Squeeze the ball. Exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Okay, you can release your ball off to the side. I generally like to do those for a couple minutes at a time. But for today's class, we're just going to gently warm up through the forearms with this. Anytime your wrists need a break, you can generally take your hands to a chicken pose, or you can kind of start to roll out through the wrists, maybe grabbing onto the wrist with your opposite hand as you make the rolls. Any vigorous shakes that we do could end up into some small injuries into the wrists and the forearms, so try not to vigorously shake your wrists throughout this practice. Wrists are tender. They bear a lot, even if we're not doing inversions. Downward dog, plank, tabletop pose is a lot for our wrists. So I'm going to come into still sitting onto my block here, knees together, and then I'm thinking about firming my hips in towards one another, okay? We're going to come into this idea of scapula push-ups utilizing the block. So grab onto your block with both palms facing the block like this, and then you want to press into the block. So also, there's a way that we're going to utilize the spine throughout the practice, and then there's a way that we want to kind of freeze the spine from moving. So this is another one of those aspects where we don't really want the spine to move, And we want to get this motion a little bit more from the scapulas and the space that's created in between. So taking the block with our palms, pressing into the block. Now here, firm the hips in towards one another. And instead of thinking about allowing our spine to move, let's think about like a sucker punch type of action. So if, you had a little brother or an older brother like I did, he was always kind of like sucker punching me. So he was like, psych. So that's the whole thing. So you want to keep this abdominal wall closed off while we come into this idea of scapular push-ups. So pressing into the block evenly, turning on through the arm bones, externally rotate through the arms. Take an inhale here, sucker punch yourself, tuck the tailbone, draw the navel in and up. And then as you exhale, can you press the block away from self? And then inhale, pull the scapulas towards one another. Exhale, and extension through the arm bones. Inhale, plug in, lifting up through the sternum, low rib in towards the hip bones. Exhale, find space through the back of the heart. Inhale, pulls into self. Exhale, find space. Reach, 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 reach. Exhale, pull. 2 more. Inhale, find space. And then pull the arm bones into the system. Level the shoulders away from the ears. Last time. Find space. Reach, 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 reach. Can you puff through the back of the heart and find space through the back of the scapulas? And then plug into the system. Press your hands into the block. Hold here. Rise the block up towards the ceiling without allowing the rib cage to flare. So you may realize that you might not get your block all the way up towards the ceiling, but that's okay. I'm starting to shake here. Refirm your hips in towards one another. Press into the block. Gently, slower than you want to, lower the block down. And bringing it back up to the top of the mat. Whew. Hello. All right. So we're going to come back into our tabletop pose. Hands shoulder distance apart. And again, you can slightly turn your hands out if that is comfortable to you. Gently tuck your toes here. And now here, let's just all do this together. So let's press the pointer mound finger into the mat. Pointer finger mound into the mat. So right here. And lift everything else up. So come back into your tabletop if you kind of shifted like I did. And press that into the mat. We want to work on this as our sweet, sweet spot. So just kind of connecting it into the mat right now might set us up for success here later on throughout our practice. You can allow your fingertips to come back down to the floor. And then gently dig your fingertips into the mat, just connecting them. Now here, tuck your tailbone, draw your navel to the spine, and then let's just drop our elbow tips out wide and try to soften our shoulder blades together and down our back as our sternum comes to the ground. Now with this even pressure into the hands, like you're screwing off jar lids with your hands, so keep this even pressure, an even connection of the palms to the mat, and then screw your elbow tips towards the back of the mat so the eye of the elbow comes forward. Take a look at your elbows. And do we have a nice micro bend into the elbows? You can bend them. Press the ground down and forward away from you. Notice how the skin of your kneecap slides towards the top of the mat. That's fantastic. So making sure that our toes are tucked here. Gaze slightly forward. Draw that navel in and up and provide a small tuck of the tailbone here to lengthen through the lower part of our spine. Keep pressing the ground down and forward away from you and hover your kneecaps off of the mat about 2 inches. Squeeze your forearms towards one another. Micro bend into your elbows, if not more of a micro bend. Take a second here to allow everything to erupt and calibrate. Dig your fingertips into the mat. Slower than you want to, on a count of 5, start to glide your sit bones up and back to downward dog. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Take a full breath here into your downward dog. Exhale to settle. Start to address the physical body's needs first. So if that means pedaling it out, maybe shifting your heels up over towards the right and to the left. I like to do this. Kind of getting a little bit into the side body. Start to settle your physical body's needs, coming into more of a stationary downward dog. So here, bringing the attention into more of the subtle nuances that happen. So let's bring the focus to our pelvic floor. So draw that pelvic floor, gather the sit bones towards one another, and allow it to slide in and up. And then as you move throughout the vessel, coming to the navel, the belly button, and even imagine here, as your eyes close, that as your navel comes to the spine, it's sliding up behind your heart space. Maybe shaking out your head here, releasing the nape of the neck, and gently bringing your gaze in between your ankles or shin bones, maybe even up through your thighs. Take an inhale here, filling up through the back body. Exhale to settle. The next inhale peels your heels away from the floor, high up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, bend the knees, send the sit bones low. Knees glide out wide to the sides of the mat. Inhale, straighten through the legs, high up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, melt the heels down to the mat. We're going to do this 3 more times. So inhale, high up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, bend the knees, squat low. Inhale, high up onto the tippy toes, navel to the spine. Exhale, melt the heels. Inhale, high. Exhale, bend the knees low. Inhale, high. Exhale, melt the heels. Inhale, high. Last time. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, high. Exhale, melt the heels. The next inhale, we're going to inhale the right leg up high to the sky. Now here, thinking about lifting up through the right inner part of the right thigh and start to pulse the right heel towards the ceiling. Keep pulsing for 3, 2, 1. Curl the left heel in towards the sit bone. Bend the knee, open up the hip. And here, start to tense your right fingertips, maybe stretching them out and farther away from your right knee, stretching in opposite directions, maybe even arcing open through the right side body. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, come back down onto your right palm. Square your hips, so really lifting up from the right inner thigh, high up onto the left tippy toes. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, before you shift your shoulders over top of your wrist, start to draw your knee into your nose. And now pull that with you as you shift the weight over top of your wrist, pulling the right knee into your nose, coming back into the idea of that core so you can allow your right thigh to come out to the right rib cage, and then pull your knee into your nose, puff up through the back of the heart. Use that separation through the scapulas as you shift the weight forward. We're going to hold this for 10, 9, high on the ball of the back foot, 8, 7, pull the knee and pull the right heel in 5, 4, 3, 2.5, 1. Send the right leg back up high to the sky. Stretch long. Exhale, slowly lower the right foot down to the left. The next inhale, we're going to inhale the left leg up high to the sky. Flex the left toes towards the kneecap, lifting up from the left inner thigh, and start to pulse the left heel towards the ceiling. The next time you pulse up high, keep it there. Mindfully bend the left heel in towards the sit bone to allow the left knee to open up to the left. Tense your left fingertips, maybe stretch them out a little bit farther away from self, and even allow your side body to kind of slink over to the left. Take an inhale here. Exhale to soften. The next inhale is going to bring your gaze back up towards your thumbs as your hands come down to the ground. And again, start to square your hips. Inhale high up onto your right tippy toes. This will really help. And before you shift the weight forward, bring your shoulders over top of your wrist. As you exhale, start to bring the left knee to the nose, puffing up through the back of the heart. Now carry this with you as you stay high on the ball of the back foot, bringing the shoulders over top of the wrist. Pull the left heel in towards the sit bone, puff up through the back of the heart for 10, 9. Can you shift it forward a little bit more, coming up higher on the tippy toes? 7, 6, 5. Press the ground down and away. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Glide back to three-legged downward dog here just briefly. And then as you exhale, lower the left foot down to meet your right. We're going to gently inhale high up onto our tippy toes and slowly tiptoe to the top of the mat. You guys are doing great. We're going to get moving here into our flow. As you arrive to the top of the mat, separate your feet hips distance or It's generally like 2 fists in between the arches. Now, as we come into this Uttanasana forward fold, the idea of connecting the thigh to the chest is really important. So it's not so much as we're thinking so much about the hamstrings, but we're thinking more about this activation of dripping the torso over top of the thighs. So bend into your knees so much so to try to connect them together, and coming back into that subtle body action of drawing the navel to the spine, and even thinking about creating that space to slide it up behind your heart space. You can grab onto opposite elbows here. So thinking about tractioning your arm bones away from the system as you find length through the side body. Allow the crown of the head to hang heavy, the nape of the neck is long. Shifting to the inner edges of your feet here. Maybe lift and fan your toes. Beautiful. With this bend into your knees, rock the weight into the back of the heels. You can take your hands to your hips and lead with a straight spine as the weight goes into the back of the heels all the way up to a stand. As you arrive into your Tadasana mountain pose, inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms through heart center. Next, inhale, we're going to bring your arms out like goalposts, so cactus arms. Squeeze your scapulas together, tuck through your tailbone. Take an inhale here to lift up through the sternum. Pull your chin slightly in towards your collarbones. And then as you exhale, close your book, bringing your elbow tips towards one another. Shh. Inhale, open back out through your cactus arms. Exhale, shh. Again, not trying to utilize, inhale here. Come back open. Our motion of our pelvis or our spine, but just the separations of our scapulas as we come into this closed off position. And then as we inhale, we're squeezing our scapulas towards one another, creating heat. 3 more just like this. Shh. You can even do that audible exhale here when we close. Inhale, peels you open. Allow the shoulders to come away from the ears. Exhale, shh. Inhale, peels you open. Last time. Exhale, squeeze the elbow tips towards one another. Shh. Inhale, peels. Exhale to settle the arms down to the ground. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, maybe gaze up at your thumbs. Exhale, bend into the knees generously to fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, spine and gaze ways long in Ardha Uttanasana. And then as we exhale, go ahead and place your hands down to the ground. We're coming into a plank position here just for a second. Again, if you'd like to come down onto your knees, that is okay. As we are here into our plank pose, so let's think about this back into the engagement that we did with the core. So let's set our heels over top of our toe mounds and lightly engage through the kneecaps and through our quads as we tuck our tailbone. Here, press the ground down and forward away from us and start to peek forward and backwards, using our toes as our little levers as though we were like looking over the edge of a pool. Now, as we pull ourselves even more forward, maybe we roll to the tops of the toes and then press the ground isometrically down and away from us, rolling back over the toes. 2 more just like this. Inhale, pull forward, look over the edge of your pulls, roll over the toe mounds. Exhale to push back through the heels of the hands. Inhale, pull forward, peek, peek, peek. Exhale, push back. Lower your kneecaps down onto the mat and slowly lower your chin and your chest and slithering onto our bellies. Tense your fingertips like mountain peaks on the outer edges of your mats and gently tap the tops of your feet onto the ground to arrive, maybe slinking one leg bone, connecting the tops of the thighs onto the floor. Again, bringing the activity into the kneecaps, lifting as the quads engage. Small tuck of the tailbone here. Draw that navel in and up. So even though we're not in a downward dog shape, still thinking about that navel coming up behind the spine. As you inhale here, peel the head, neck, and shoulders away from the mat. And then exhale, just roll the scapulas back down and together. Take an inhale here, lift up through the sternum. Exhale, peel your sternum back down to the ground. 2 more just like this, some spinal waves. Press the fingertips down and away. Humble your head down towards the ground on an inhale. As you exhale, scapulas roll back down and together as the eye of the elbows come forward. Inhale here, lift up through the sternum. Exhale to slink it down to the ground, keeping the legs engaged and the navel is in and up. Last time, inhale, peels away. Exhale, roll the shoulder blades back down and together, press the back of the skull back. Inhale here, lift up through the sternum. Exhale, peels the heart back down to the ground. Gently place your hands at your low ribs and press back into a child's pose here. Taking one full breath into the kidney bend area where the low back meets the pants. Inhale, ride the wave forward as you come into your tabletop pose. Exhale, as you tuck the toes, gently pick your kneecaps up, glide your sit bones up and back to downward dog. Take an inhale here into your downward dog, and then exhale to stay. On the next inhale, we're going to inhale the right leg up high to the sky. And then as we exhale, let's bend the right heel in towards the sit bone, lifting up from the right inner thigh, and start to pulse the right foot towards the ceiling using the right inner thigh. Take an inhale here. Keep that up pulse. And then as you exhale, start to bring your right knee out slightly wide as it coming to the right or outer part of your right rib cage, bringing the right knee up to towards the right tricep. Press the ground down and forward away from you, and gently step your right foot next to your right pinky. As you arrive here, gently lower your left kneecap down onto the mat. And here, you can just shift the weight back and forward here gently. If you feel like your stance is a little bit too wide, you can bring your right foot back in. But we want hips distance, if not just a smidge bit more, since we're just getting started here into the hips. Now, slightly pigeon toe the right foot, taking the right toes towards the center of the mat. You can take your right hand to your knee and left hand to the knee, coming up into an Anjaneyasana. Tuck your tailbone here. And if you feel that you're on the patella of the back knee, just kind of scoot it back just a little bit to kind of get more onto the meat of the top of the right leg. Tuck the tailbone, find this length, scissor the inner thighs towards one another. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to drip the torso over top of the right thigh. And we're going to send our sit bones back as we frame our front foot, coming up onto those mountain peaks again, coming into Ardha Hanumanasana, so half lift. And I want us to think about this here for a second. So we want to think about the integrity of the spine. Now, we all have our blocks, so if you'd like to use our blocks, and I actually love using my blocks for this posture, you can bring your hands onto your blocks. Flex your right toes towards your kneecap. Pull the right femur back into the system. Inhale here. Pull the navel to the spine as you glide your spine and gaze long. Exhale to soften your chin towards your big toe. Inhale, peels the sternum away. Find buoyancy through the back of the heart. Exhale to soften. 2 more waves. Inhale, glide you forward. Exhale to soften. Inhale, glide you forward. Exhale to soften. Beautiful. The next time we glide forward, that's going to bring back into the lunge into the front foot. And here, as we do so, we can glide our blocks back up to the top of the mat if you're using them. We're going to bring the focus into the right foot, power down through it as we glide forward, coming into a supported L position. Here, flexing the left toes towards the kneecap and start to lift up from the left inner thigh, more pulsing. Keep pulsing for 3, 2, 1. Keep this up pulse. Again, let's come back into that action of spine and gaze long. So inhale, spine and gaze waist long. And then as you exhale, let's think about cat the spine, bend into the left knee, draw the left knee into the nose, puff up through the back of the heart. Inhale, glides us back out to our supported L position, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, bend into the left knee, put the weight into the palms, puff up, find that space through the scapulas. Inhale, glides us back out to a supported L. Last time, maybe audible exhale out the mouth, weight into the palms, puff up through the back of the heart. Inhale, glides us back to our supported L position. Now here, keep this length, pull the shoulders away from the ears, bend the left heel towards the ceiling, and now start to pull the left knee into the nose, bend into the right knee, squat low, but the left knee is on the inner edge of the right knee. Pull the left heel in towards the sit bone, gently allow the left knee to come down towards the left ankle. Inhale here, exhale, zip it up. Inhale, allow it to slide down. Exhale, zoop. Inhale, allow it to slide down. Exhale, zoop. Woo. Inhale. Exhale, zoop. One more. Inhale. Exhale, zoop. Inhale to glide us back out to a supported L position. Settle the shoulders away from the ears. Flex the left toes towards the kneecap. Slowly lower the left foot to land next to the right. Inhale, spine and gaze waist long. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, release your hands, reach up to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms meet to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, spine and gaze waist long. Exhale, plant the palms, step it on back into plank position. Charge through the legs immediately. Dig your fingertips into the mat. Peep forward, looking over the edge of your pool. Bend your elbow tips straight back. Lower into Chaturanga. Flip over top of the toes. Engage through the legs. Inhale, lifts you up through up dog. Exhale, pushes you back, rolling over to the toes into downward dog. Take a full breath into your downward dog to reconnect and calibrate. As you exhale, allow the heels to melt down to the ground. The next inhale, flex the left toes towards the kneecap as you glide the left heel up towards the ceiling and start to pulse the left inner thigh towards the ceiling just a few times. Come up high onto the ball of the right foot. Okay, so we're going to be bringing our left foot to the top left pinky of our left hand. So we're going to bend into the left knee, and then we're going to come back into the idea of the core. So slide the left thigh up to the left rib cage. Start to shift the weight forward, bringing the left knee with you. Shoulders over top of the wrists, and start to lower the left foot next to the left pinky. Woo! Start to shift the weight back and forward, kind of lubricating into the hip. And again, you can walk the left foot in gently if you feel that it veered out a little bit wider than you'd like, but still keeping the feet about hips distance. Next time you come into your lunge, lower the right kneecap down onto the mat and maybe slide it back a bit, putting on the weight more onto like the meat of the upper part of the thigh above your knee. Take an inhale here, scissor the inner thighs towards one another. So front heel towards the back knee, and you can even cap the spine, make your way up into an Anjaneyasana, bringing your hands to your right knee bone. Now tuck your tailbone, bring the pelvic floor in and up. Even traction your right femur away from self as you press down and away into your arms. Keep the activation of the legs pulling in towards one another. Inhale here, and then exhale to lunge. One more breath, just like this. Inhale, exhale to lunge. Gently, on your next exhale, take your torso over top of the left knee, and you can again bring your blocks with you. Send your shin bones towards the back of the mat. Flex your left toes towards your kneecap. Dig the left heel into the mat. Square your hips towards the top of the mat. Inhale, spine and gaze waist long. And now exhale, rather thinking about nose to knees, let's think about chin to big toe or nose towards the top of the mat. As we exhale, navel draws in and up, same way it does in downward dog, and start to fold. 3 waves just like this. Inhale, find buoyancy through the back of the heart. Settle the shoulder blades away from the ears. Exhale, lead with the chin towards the top of the mat. 2 more. Inhale, find buoyancy and space through the back of the heart. Exhale to soften. Inhale, last time, ride the wave with your breath. Exhale to soften. The next inhale brings the weight back into the sole of the left foot. Take your hands to your blocks, and then as you inhale, peel yourself up to a supported L position. Flex your right toes towards your kneecap, and then start to pulse the outer edge of the right foot or right thigh towards the ceiling. Press, the same way we did in the beginning of the core, with that lower leg. Press the right heel away from the system. Travel the shoulder blades down and together onto the back. Draw the navel in and up. Keep pulsing. For 3, 2, 1. Now, bend the right foot until the sole of the foot faces the ceiling. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, start to draw the right knee in towards the nose as you shift the weight forward into your hands, puffing up through the back of the heart. Pull the right heel in. Inhale glides us back out into the supported L. Exhale, this may help. Audible exhale out the mouth. Shift the weight forward, shoulders over top of the wrists. Puff up through the back of the heart. Pull the right knee to the nose. Inhale glides us forward. Exhale, press the ground down and away from us. Puff up through the back of the heart. Let's do 1 more. Inhale forward. Stomp the right heel towards the ceiling. Exhale, press the ground down and away. Inhale, coming back up. Okay, now we're going to keep this position. We're going to start to bend into the left knee. And we're going to inhale, find length, draw the navel in and up. Exhale, draw the right knee into the nose, puff up through the back of the heart. Bend into the left knee so much so that the left knee and right knee come in to meet one another. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, drop the right knee down towards the right inner part of your ankle. Exhale to zipper it up. Inhale to drop. Maybe spine and gaze grows a little bit long. Exhale, zipper. Inhale. Exhale, zipper. Inhale. Exhale, zipper. One more. Inhale. Exhale, zipper. Inhale, glides us all the way open as we blast back into our supported L position. Flex the right toes towards the kneecap. Slowly lower the right foot to hover next to the left before it plants. Inhale, spine and gaze waves long. Exhale to fold. Inhale, circle sweep up high to the sky. Exhale, palms through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, spine and gaze waves long. Exhale, plant the palms, and you can step or you can hop back to chaturanga if you like, and that's in your practice. I'm just going to step back to plank. Tip forward like I'm peeking over the edge of a pool. Bend the elbow tips straight back, coming at 90 degrees with the elbows. Flip to the tops of the feet, charge through the legs. Inhale, peels my heart through my biceps. Exhale to glide the sit bones up and back as I roll over to my toes into downward dog. In our downward dog, take a full breath here in to connect into the system. Exhale to ground. We're going to be doing this flow again, building onto it, doing a few extra amazing drills that I personally love. But the whole core of the flow is going to stay the same. So we're going to inhale the right leg up high to the sky. And then exhale, let's just bend the right knee. And now bringing it to the outer edge of your right rib cage, start to shift the weight forward, shoulders over top of the wrists. Gently bring your right foot down next to your right pinky. Lower the left knee down onto the ground. And you can leave your left toes tucked or untucked. Inhale your arms maybe up to the sky this time, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bring your hands back to the ground. Glide your sit bones back. Flex your right toes towards your kneecap, coming into Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale, glide you forward. Bring your fingertips onto your blocks this time, or your hands onto your blocks. Glide up into our supported L position. Flex the left toes towards the kneecap. Inhale here for length. And now as you exhale, this time we're going to bend the left knee, and we're going to tuck it behind the right into a curtsy squat. Inhale, lift from the left inner thigh back up to supported L. Exhale, bend into the left knee, bend into the right squat low. Inhale up. Exhale, squat low. We're going to do this 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, squat low. Inhale up. Exhale, squat low. This time, lower the left foot down onto the mat, and then you can either keep your hands onto your blocks, or you can bring your palms to heart center. And here we're just going to squat. Squat down low, pressing the left knee behind the right shin bone here, and keep squatting into our nice, fun little Shiva squat situation for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands back to your blocks. Inhale lifts you back up into your supported L position. Now inhale here, and then as we exhale, bend the left knee into the nose. Puff up through the back of the heart. Shift the weight forward, shoulders over top of the wrists. Inhale forward. Exhale. Left knee to the nose, puff up through the back of the heart. Inhale forward, release back out into supported L. Exhale, left knee to the nose. Now, gently start to bend into the right knee. Bring the left knee towards the right knee. Tense your fingertips. Really ground down through the right leg. And maybe start to release your fingertips from your block. And coming up to a stance, bringing the left knee into the chest. Inhale here, have a micro bend into the standing leg. And then as you exhale, pull the left heel in towards the sit bone. Rise up through the sternum. Core is engaged, navel is drawing in and up. Now here, you can keep your left hand to your left knee or behind your left thigh, or you can release both hands. We're going to come into this bend and extend action into the left leg. Again, you can keep the leg lower. You can hold on to it for balance. But we're thinking of more of the flexing of the left toes, finding a kneading through the back of the left leg, almost like you have an orange through the back of the right knee, and we're squeezing it every time we're pulling the heel in, making orange juice. It's morning for me here. I haven't had breakfast. Keep going for 3, 2, 1. Pull the left heel in towards the sit bone. Inhale, rise up. And now as you exhale, start to hinge forward, leading with your sternum. Bring your left knee to your right knee. Bend into the right leg. And then reach the left leg back, landing onto the top of the left foot. Inhale here. Exhale, roll over the toe mount. Inhale, come forward onto the top of the left foot. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, roll forward. We're one strong straight board here with our torso. Roll back. 2 more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. 1 more. Inhale, forward. One strong straight board. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, roll back. Gently bring your fingertips down to your block. And let's squeak our blocks or our books to frame our front foot here. Let's work the right leg towards straight. High stance, pyramid pose, maybe shaking out the right leg here just a little bit. You guys are doing fantastic. This is one of my favorite drills. Now, I highly suggest to come up high onto the ball of the back foot. We're going to come into the articulation of the spine, and this time the audible exhales are very, very useful. So again, the audible exhales sound like this. Okay, and I will cue them when it's good to use them. So you can have your blocks on level 1. Level 2 might be nice too. Level 3 could be nice, but if you feel like you're on foam blocks and it's a little uncomfortable or unstable, please be careful. I'm going to go on block 1. Actually, I'm going to go on no blocks just so that you can see what it is that I'm doing. But I generally like blocks. The next level would be onto fingertips, or you can go to palms. I'm going to do fingertips. So here, we're going to inhale, spine and gaze long. So think Ardha Uttanasana, high on the ball of the back foot, navel drawing in and up. Now, as we exhale, press the ground down and forward away from us. Shoulders travel over top of the wrist, puff up through the back of the heart. So it's that audible exhale. And see if we can find a lightness to float the right foot. This may just mean peel the toes off of the mat and come onto the right heel. Slowly release the engagement and fold, leading with your chin. Inhale, waves the spine and gaze long. Soften something. Exhale, out the mouth. Puff up through the back of the heart. Press the ground down in a way like you mean it. Release the engagement and fold. We're going to do this 2 more times. Inhale, spine and gaze, waves long. Exhale, press the ground down and away. Puff up through the back of the heart. Shoulder blade, scapula expand. Gently release the engagement and fold. Last time. Inhale, spine and gaze long. Exhale. Press the ground down and away from you. Maybe slide, glide. You can squeegee your right leg straight and strong all the way back to meet your left into your downward dog. Beautiful. We're just going to travel into the other side from here. So we're going to inhale the left leg up high to the sky. And then we're going to exhale, bend into the left knee, bring it to the outer edge of your left rib cage as you bring it with you and roll forward, left knee to the top of the left arm. Bring the left toes down to the mat. Gently drop your right kneecap. Slide it back just a smidge. Scissor the inner thighs towards one another. Inhale, arms up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale to tuck the tailbone, scissor the inner thighs towards one another. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, go ahead and drop your fingertips down to the mat. Send your sit bones back. Flex your left toes towards your kneecap to fold. Inhale, spine and gaze waves. Exhale, bring the weight into the left foot. Take your fingertips onto the block. Come all the way back up into our supported L position. Flex your right toes towards your kneecap. Inhale here. Coming into the Shiva squats, bend into the left knee. As you exhale, right knee tucks behind the left, squat low. Inhale, lifts us. Exhale to squat. Inhale, lifts. Exhale to squat. Inhale to lift. Exhale to squat. 2 more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to squat. Inhale to lift. I lied, 1 more. Exhale to squat. Drop the outer edge of the right foot or the right toe mounds onto the mat. And again, we can start to do these, oh my God, Shiva squats right here. You can pick your fingertips off of your block. Gently press the right knee into the back of the right calf to kind of think about squeezing to the midline. So squeeze your thighs in towards one another. Draw the pelvic floor in and up. Keep pulsing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands back down to the block if they aren't already. Inhale your right leg up high to the sky. Now, as you exhale, bend into the right knee and then gently bring the right knee to the inner edge of the left thigh. You can start to shift the weight back into the left heel as you release your fingertips from the block, coming up to a stand. Bringing the right knee into the chest. Basket your fingertips around your right leg. Stay here to recalibrate, Set yourself up for success. So if you fell out, kind of come back in. Power down through the right heel, tuck the tailbone, lift up through the sternum. And again, you can keep your hand to your right knee or your right thigh and just start this kneading of the back of the right leg by bend, extend. Flex the right toes firmly towards the kneecap. You can challenge your balance. Tuck your right hip down, lift your left hip up. Take both hands off. Like mom, no hands. And again, coming back into that mindful movement. So really squeezing the right heel in towards the sit bone, making that orange juice again. We want to bring integrity to each one of our movements. 2 more pulses here. Next time your right heel meets your sit bone, leave it there. Bend into the left knee. Draw the right knee to the inner edge of your left knee, and then send it to the back of the mat. As you pitch forward, core staying in and up, tuck the tailbone gently. Stretch your right leg long using the lift of the back of the right leg, and then come to the top of the foot. Inhale here, and then exhale, roll over to the toes. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, roll back. 2 more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, roll back. Last time. Inhale, forward. Lead with the crown of the head. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, roll back. Gently bring your hands onto your blocks to frame your front foot. Coming into the pyramid plug isolation game here. So I do suggest this with blocks. I'm letting you know when I first did this, nothing moved. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But I mean, long behold, after many plugs later, something lifted. Just for the sake of you being able to see me, I'm going to come onto my palms. I'm not trying to show off or anything. It's even harder for me to do this and talk. But anyway, I digress. I hope you guys enjoyed that break. Inhale, spine and gaze waves long. Exhale, press the ground down and away from you. Shh. Take this motion through the back of the heart, high on the ball of the back foot. Shh. Maybe you can plug the left leg into the socket. Maybe you imagine it's lifting. Inhale, waves that spine and gaze long. Soften something. Think of something pleasant. Exhale, shh. Think of something you don't want. Press the ground down and away from you. Navel draws in and up. Lift. Release. 3 more times. Inhale, spine and gaze waves long. Exhale, press the ground down and away, high on the ball of the back foot. This will help you. Shh. Yes, yes, yes. Take your fingertips in the mat. Shift the weight forward. Release the engagement. Inhale, spine and gaze. Exhale, press the ground down and away from you. Shh. Slide, glide, squeegee your left leg straight and strong. Back to meet your right. Beautiful job. Take an inhale here. Exhale to stay. The next inhale. High up onto our tippy toes. Now, you can take a few hops to the top of the mat. We are going to be meeting in chair pose. So if you'd like to take a few hops, go for it. If not, you can simply walk or skip or scoot your way there. Okay? Kind of doing a few little pulls. Thinking about here, pulling the heel towards the sit bone. As you shift the weight forward, dig your fingertips into the mat. Gaze slightly in between and ahead of your pointer fingers. And maybe you can slowly lower your toes down to the ground. All right. So, big your big toe mounds together, heels a sliver apart. Bend into the knees, kneecaps glued towards one another, and then let's shift our shin bones back. Now, coming into the reset, if you were like me and like to stick your booty out there, think about a Small tuck of the tailbone. This actually just brings us into more of a neutral position. We're going to firm the hips in towards one another, lengthen the low rib from the hip bones. Beautiful. So as we have all of this information from the waist down organized, keep all of that. Take your hands to heart center. Inhale here. And now as you exhale, kind of think about those toe rolls that we just did in crescent. We want to think about leading forward, but not with our kneecaps. Lead forward a little bit with our torso and come up onto our toe mounds. Slowly lower the heels to the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. All right. Inhale, arms up. Stretch your legs up high. Exhale, hinge forward, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Take a full breath into your Uttanasana. On your next inhale, spine and gaze waves long. And then as you exhale, go ahead and just bend into knees. Send the sit bones low down to the ground. Dig your big toe mounds into the mat. And let's grab onto our strap here just for a brief second. And we're going to take this strap behind our thighs, right at the base where our knee creases, but not onto the knee or any of the tendons. So like still in the meat of the thigh. You can dig your big toe mounds into the mat or just the whole entire heels and then traction them towards your sit bones. Here we're going to think spine and gaze up, so like an Ardha Uttanasana spine. And then as you exhale, dig the heels or the big toe mounds into the mat and start to cat the spine. Humble your head down towards the ground. Find a stretch through the back of the heart. Inhale, pulls the spine and gaze long. Exhale, maybe release something else as the pelvic floor comes towards the sternum. Inhale, glides us forward. Exhale, one more time. Inhale, glides us forward. And then exhale to cat. Inhale to glide forward. And you can release your strap off to the side. I like this as a nice back stretch and a low back stretch. It really helps get into like the little nitty grits. Take a block and bring it to the back of the mat. Now we're just going to take our hands to our shin bones. Come back into that same action of inhale, spine and gaze waves. Exhale, cat the spine, roll all the way down, releasing your hands from your shin bones. Tuck the navel in and up, and slowly lower the back body onto the ground. Great. We're going to come back into core section number 2. If you guys have never taken my class before, I love the core quite a bit. It is like our powerhouse, our nucleus. It is not only, the thing that encapsulates all of our organs and our life force, but is also, the base of all of our strength. So I really like to summon that before I do anything else. Hence why we started with it. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that break. Okay, we're going to bring the block into our hands. Now here, we're going to stretch the right leg up to the sky. Now, you can leave the left knee bent. You can work the left leg towards straight and come back into that same aspect of stretching the left leg long as you flex the toes towards the kneecap. In fact, both legs, let's flex the toes towards the kneecap and press the heel away from the system. Take the block to the back of your right thigh and now press the back of the thigh into the block and then the block into the thigh evenly. So you have this like even taut tension. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders off of the mat. Keep pressing the thigh into the block into the thigh. Now here you can lift the left leg 1, 2, 3, 4 inches off of the mat. Keep this, draw the navel in and up. Take an inhale here, and now exhale, press into the block the same way we did with the scapula push-ups in the beginning of class, and start to extend your arms out of the system. Keep the engagement of the right leg, and start to pulse the block towards the left toes. Shh. Really find space through the back of the heart. Let's use that audible breath here for 15. Shh. 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 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Now we're going to change, but keep this up pulse. Hold the up pulse. And now take your left hand to the outer edge of your right, and maybe take your block at the skinny section and start to pulse. Shh, 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 shh. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the up pulse. Don't you drop. Pull the right heel in towards the sit bone. Take the block to where your thigh and chest would meet. Now squeeze them in towards one another. Reach your fingertips towards the top of the mat and start to shh, shh, shh. Keep pulling the right knee towards the nose every time you curl up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the block. Bring the block and the arms and legs up to the sky for one breath. Dead bug. Exhale to settle. Beautiful. Lower the right leg down to the mat. Stretch the right toes long. Flex both toes towards the kneecap. Engage through the legs. Take the left block or the block behind the left thigh. Press into the block and then the block into the thigh evenly. Engage this. And as you inhale, peel head, neck, and shoulders off of the mat. Engage through the right leg. Peel that heel off of the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. Squeeze with this tension. Draw that navel in and up. And then as you exhale, extend the arms away from self. Press the block towards the top of the mat. We're coming into these pulses again. Keep both legs super strong and active for 15, 14, 12. This breath is so helpful. Not only does it just give us something to do while we're kind of being tortured, but it naturally allows the navel to come to the spine and contract the wall a little bit more for 5, 4, 3, flex through the toes. 2, keep the up pulse. Take the block to the outer edge of the left thigh on skinny section here and start to pulse. Squeeze those palms into the block. For 8, 7, 6, flex the toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time, keep the up pulse. Coil the navel towards the side. Pull the left heel in towards the sit bone. Squeeze the block into the torso by pulling the left heel in towards the system, knee to the nose. Pulse up for 10, 9. Flex those right toes. Right leg is engaged. 5, 4, 3. I think we did 15 on this. 2, extra 5. Bonus round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze. Dead bug, arms and legs up high to the sky. You can bring the block with you if that's comfortable. I like it. It kind of settles my arm bones into the sockets a little bit. Take a full breath as you flush through the back of the heart. Beautiful. Exhale to stay. You can place the block off to the top of your mat. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs. And here we can start to rock and roll along the back of the heart here. Take 2 more rocks, and we're going to come all the way back up into chair pose. Again, set us up for success, so lean the weight into the back of the heel, send the shin bones back, glue the knees in towards one another, tuck the tailbone, lift up. Inhale here, palms to heart center. Exhale slightly, hinge forward, come up onto the toe mounts. Inhale to lower, exhale to rise. Inhale to lower, exhale to rise. Inhale to lower, 2 more. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. 1 more. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Gently send your torso over top of your thighs. Inhale, spine and gaze waves long. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back into your plank or jump through, going through your vinyasa. Here, in whatever heart opener that you are in, take an extra breath, opening up through the abdominal wall. And then as you exhale, you can lower your kneecaps down to the mat, send your sit bones back, coming back into a child's pose. Take a full breath into the kidney band area. And then an exhale to melt the heart towards the ground. Inhale glides us back up into a tabletop pose. Now here, let's all grab onto our blocks or our books. We're going to be coming into downward dog. We are finally ready to bring our foot to the top of the mat from downward dog. All right, let's do this. Hands onto the blocks. I'm going to do level 1 setting. If this is a little bit more space that you need for your body, please feel free to take it. But again, if it feels very unsturdy, try to find a happy medium of being sturdy and then also safe and accessible. Okay, we've been bringing the leg to the outer part of the rib cage. Now we're going to think about finding a little bit more space. We've been separating through the scapulas and finding some space in there to pull the knee in towards the nose so that we can slip our foot in between our hands. Now we're gonna move the ground away from us. I want us all to try blocks, at least this first round, and then we're gonna have another option to go off of blocks. So let's come into our downward dog with our hands on blocks. There's going to be a few exercises here with that. So if you were having a hard time with those pyramid plugs, this may be another drill that you can use that will help you facilitate more of an action into that space. Okay, so inhale high up onto the heels, and then as you exhale, take the right foot up to the sky. Now, as you inhale, pull the right knee into the nose before you shift the weight forward. So just kind of bring it into self. Think about pulling that block into your rib cage with your right thigh. Take an inhale here, and now exhale, shh. Roll forward, knee into the nose, shoulders over top of the wrist. Inhale here, and then exhale, shh. Pull the right knee into the nose. Flex the right toes towards the kneecap, and keep the right heel pulled in. Squeeze here for 1 second, and then as you exhale, work your right leg to about a 90 degree. Beautiful. Inhale, pull the right heel into the system. And now exhale, 90 degree, maybe 45, 90, 45, one of the two. Actually, let's just go back and forth between the two. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Glide your right leg all the way back to meet yourself in downward dog. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, I'm going to spin around so that you can see me. And we're all going to come up to level 3 setting. And just place your right foot in between your blocks here just for a brief second. So high on the ball of the back of the left foot. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades away from the ears. And then as you exhale, push the ground down and away. Pull the right thigh into the system. Flex the right toes towards the kneecap. And now here, tap the inner edge and the outer edge of your foot to your blocks. Again, if this feels unsafe, go on level 2. Pull the right thigh into the chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shifting to side for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thigh to chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Side to side for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Release the right foot down onto the mat. And again, bringing yourself back onto level 1, coming to downward dog. Take an inhale here and an exhale. We're going to shift to the other side. So inhale the left leg up. Exhale, curl the left heel into the sit bone. Draw the left knee into the nose. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to shift the weight forward. Bring the left knee to the nose. Pull the left heel in. Puff up through the back of the heart. Stay here for a brief second to squeeze. Press the ground down and away like you mean it. Flex the left toes towards the kneecap. And then work on keeping the thigh to the chest. And then working the left leg to about 90 degrees. And then going somewhere in between. Small pulsations from 90 to 45. Shift the weight a little bit more over top of your wrists, higher on the ball of the back foot for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send the legs back, coming into your downward dog. And again, I'm going to come face you, coming up onto level 3 of my blocks. Just going to gently place my left foot in between the blocks, high on the ball of the back foot. I have candle wax on my blocks. It's uneven. Anyway, inhale, spine and gaze long. Exhale, press the ground down and away. Plug the left thigh into the system. Sit here to take the outer edge of both feet of the foot to the inner edges of the blocks. Shift the weight forward, shoulders over top of the wrists for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee to the chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then outer, inner for 4, 3, 2, 1. Thigh to chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay. Coming back into our space. So, you can go to the top of the mat. You can, again, like I said, we're going to have options. So you can remove your blocks if you try this without blocks. I suggest to try it and see if it feels any different than it normally does for you. So inhale high up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, take the right leg up high to the sky. Inhale here, curl the right heel in towards the sit bone. Exhale, draw the right knee into the nose. Inhale here as you start to move from the back of the heart. Exhale to bring your right knee to your nose as you shift the weight over top of your shoulders. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, flex the toes towards your kneecap, pull the thigh into the chest, slowly lower the right foot down to your right thumb. Woo. How'd that feel for you guys? Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower the left knee down onto the mat. Now, turn the left hand out about 10 degrees, so sending the left middle finger towards the top left corner of the mat. Inhale your right arm up to twist. And now here, we're just going to come into a nice little quad stretch. So really alleviating the pressure off the left shoulder, pulling it away from your ear. Start to pulse the left heel towards the sit bone. And again, if you feel like you're on that bony part of your knee, scooch yourself on back. Do yourself a favor. Squeeze the left heel into the sit bone. Again, let's reintegrate. So pull the right heel towards the back knee. So scissor the inner thighs towards one another. Keep the pulse of the left heel in towards the sit bone. Now y'all have a strap if you want to use it, and take your strap around the back of your foot. Or you can just reach it on back. See if you can grab onto the outer edge of your foot. Press your hand into your foot and your foot in your hand evenly. And then let's back out of this to go deeper, So press the front ground down and away from us. Send the sit bones away from the ground, drawing it towards your heel. Now let's do that isometrical pull, the scissoring of the inner thighs, to keep this activation and send the stretch into the meat of the quad. So scissor the front heel towards the back knee, glue the heel towards the sit bone, roll the scapulas back down and together, and then find yourself into a space of utilizing your breath to open up through the left quad. And 2 huge breaths here. Gently on your next exhale, release the back foot. Frame your front foot with your fingertips, or if you'd like with your blocks, pick your left knee up, come high on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, spine engages waves. Exhale, just press the ground down and away and just try to slide your right leg sweetly to the back of the mat. Beautiful. Inhale here, high up onto the tippy toes. And we're switching sides. Exhale, allow the left leg to come up high to the sky. Inhale, turn on the back leg, lifting up from the inner thigh, pulling the left heel in towards the sit bone. And then as you inhale, start to pull the left knee into the nose. And then as you exhale, glue the thigh to the chest as you ride the wave forward, taking your shoulders over top of your wrist, puff up through the back of the heart. Inhale here to flex the toes. And then exhale, press the ground, down and forward as you work your left leg towards straight to land next to your left thumb. Lower the right kneecap down onto the mat, and then scooch yourself on back, coming into our quad stretch here. I really like to turn the right hand out just a little bit, because generally, if I don't, I start to do this like bone-on-bone dumping action, and I like hyperextend here. So if that's something that you do, you might want to try this out. So if you turn your hand out a little bit, you can already externally rotate. Leave space here for the nape of your neck. Scissor the inner thighs towards one another, and now start to pulse your heel towards your sit bone. Always trying to get hamstring strengthening, because we do a lot of stretching here in yoga, so I love all my little pulses. I hate them. So pulse for 2, 1. Again, if you know you need your strap, grab onto that. If not, keep that activation of the back leg as you reach it on back, grab to the outer edge of the foot. Press evenly into one another to get a firm grasp. Back out of this to go deeper. So pull the hips away from the ground. Allow the heel to come to the sit bone. And then scissor the inner thighs towards one another as you allow your hips to come down to the ground. Take an inhale here. And then an exhale. Take an inhale. And an exhale. Beautiful. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Release the back foot. Frame your front foot with your fingertips or your palms. As you pick your right kneecap off of the mat, inhale, spine and gaze waves long. Exhale, slide, glide, squeegee the left leg all the way back. Inhale, high up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, roll forward, lower your kneecaps down onto the mat. Lower your chest and your chin. Take your hands like little, resting on top of one another, and just rest your forehead onto the mat. And then here, bend into your knees and start to shift the heels, windshield wipering. So, as you can see, that whole aspect of bringing your foot to the top of the mat, when you think about like these small transitions that we do so quickly in class, can really be broken down in ways of where you can notice and identify the moments in between. And what kind of volcanic eruptions we can actually create on the mat. We're gonna come into a back of the heart stretch, since we did a lot of puffing and activating through the scapula. So you can release your knees from moving from side to side. Come into an easy Sphinx pose here. So elbow tips underneath the shoulders. And here, let's bring the idea into the right hand and then tense your left fingertips and stretch them a little bit ahead that we can pick the left elbow up off the mat. Take your right hand, weave it underneath your left. Go ahead and just drop down into that space. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, walk your left fingertips over to the right. Squeeze your left elbow into the outer part of your right tricep, and then as you exhale, maybe rest your chin on top of your left arm. And with every inhale, think about separating and finding space through the back of the heart. It's such a strong area with so many complex muscle groups going on in that area around our shoulder blades and our spinal column that, and it often, when we get massages, people are like, oh, wow, you have a knot there, you have this there and that there, so kind of bringing heat and space into that area really helps to increase blood flow, helps you keep the integrity of the strength of our shoulder girdle. And not only, it has so many hidden, locked secrets in there that are extreme powerhouses. So take one more breath here into the back of the heart. And when you're ready, as you exhale, pick your left arm back up, and you can go ahead and just tense your fingertips. Leave your right arm as is, and we're gonna just roll over onto our backs. Bring your right knee into your chest, give it a little squeeze. And then as you exhale, just come into a nice spinal twist, sending your right knee over to the left. You can take your left hands to the crease of your right hip, take your fingertips around your thighs, and gently just massage into this space. Take one more breath here into your spinal twist. And as you exhale, just roll back over onto our stomachs. And come back into Sphinx pose. Tense your right fingertips, peel your right elbow off of the mat. Walk your left arm now underneath your right. Stretch it over to the side. Take an inhale here to re-square your shoulders towards the top of the mat. And then as you exhale, take your right fingertips to the left. Squeeze your right elbow into your left so that you can kind of create a little bit of a lift for the back of the heart. And then start to rest your chin on top of your arm. And take 3 full breaths here into the back of the heart, really trying to flush out that area. You can soften your internal gaze, the space in between your eyebrows, in this very kind of uncomfortable posture, but at the same time, it feels like so good. Your next inhale, you can bring your forehead away from the mat, tense your right fingertips. Now we're going to roll over to the right, leaving the left arm as it is. As you make your way into your back body, draw the left knee into the chest. Take a full breath in. Find your exhale coming into your spinal twist. Again, you always feel free to give yourself a self-massage during these nice cool down postures by taking your fingertips to the outer part of your hip. Maybe talking to you quite a bit for some of the things that we did. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, just start to make your way back onto your mat if you've shifted. So kind of just stay where you are and just shift yourself back onto the mat. Gonna come into just a reclined pigeon pose here. So pull the right knee into the chest, flex the right toes towards the kneecap, then externally rotate the right leg, and then press the right ankle bone into your knee and then your knee into the ankle bone. Think of that core activation where it's that even pressure. A lot of the time we don't think about pushing back into something, so give that even pressure in towards one another by keeping the right foot flexed. Then slightly turns on the core, so it's not like a burning sensation, but it's trusting that the integrity of our system, that the movement is coming from the core. So that's what I mean by this, like mindful movements. So keeping this, allowing the right knee to drop down towards the top or back right corner of your mat. Take an inhale here, even pressure, pull the left heel into the self. Both legs are active, but assuring that the right foot is flexed towards one another. You can thread your arms through, grabbing onto the back of your thigh or your shin bone here, and gently just start to rock onto your sacrum. I'd like to invite the idea here into this reclined pigeon pose that we generally like to send the rock a little bit more towards the right or towards where the knee is bent. So let's think about sending it a little bit more towards the left. See if we can catch our balance. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, pull the left knee into the chest a little bit more, and then see if you can facilitate more of an opening by pressing your right forearm into the inner edge of your right thigh. Take another breath in here, repeating those cues, pulling the left thigh into the chest, and then an exhale to pry the right leg open. Keep the right toes flexed, maybe wiggle them. Say hi to the camera with my toes. Gently release. Stretch the legs up to the sky. Allow everything to drain into the system. Your next inhale, going to be switching sides here. So plant the sole of the right foot, flex the left toes towards the kneecap, externally rotate through the left leg. Create a little bit of space for you to do so. Use that activation of the core. So press the right knee in towards the self, and then press the left ankle bone into the top of the left knee. Turning on through the core, so as we tuck our tailbone, use our core, even pressure into the ankle and the knee to pull the left shin bone into self. Take an inhale here, elongating through the central column, and then as you exhale, thread it on through, grabbing it to whatever it is that you're comfortable here. Keeping those left toes firmly flexed to facilitate a nice stretch into the outer part of the hip, and you can take a little bit of movement here. Again, you can maybe notice which side you like to, your body naturally gravitates towards too. And just start to shift the weight in that opposite direction. Generally for me, it's away from where the knee is bent. So I'm gonna shift over a little bit more towards the right. Take an inhale here to pull the right knee into the self, still not losing the idea of that even pressure of the left ankle and the right knee. And then as I exhale, the left forearm into the inner part of the left thigh. One more breath, repeating those same cues. So inhale to pull the knee into the chest. Exhale to allow a soft opening. The next inhale glides us back up to center and allow both legs to come up to the sky, again coming into dead bug. And then as you exhale, knees out wide, thread your arms in between your kneecaps, flex your toes towards your kneecaps as you grab onto the outer edges of your feet, coming into happy baby pose. Allowing a nice little opening here in through our hips. Again, they did a lot of work for us, so it might be nice to do some kneading. Take another breath, filling up through the back of the heart. And then as you exhale, take your knees into the center. Wrap your forehead around, or your shin bones around your forearms around your shin bones, nose towards the knees. Squeeze into a tight little ball. And then as you exhale, allow the legs to flop open, coming into this much needed space of digestion, recalibration. Just taking a little bit of time here for yourself. Take another full breath in and a full breath out. Softening and allowing the perimeters and outer layers of your skin to dissolve and dissipate. Maybe here just reaffirming a nice connection by rolling the scapulas down and away from your ears, tucking your tailbone. You can stay here as long as you like or that you need to digest. And when you are ready to come out of your Savasana, do so slowly and sweetly by honoring yourself and the seeds that were planted today. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me today. I hope you enjoyed it and had some fun. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Namaste.